Hello everyone, this is Aditi. I'm currently a BLLB student at Symbiosis Law School, Noida. I'm also your legal mentor who would be guiding you for your legal knowledge section and legal reasoning section for various law entrance examinations. So today's lecture that we have planned is regarding the Constitution of India. What is the history behind Constitution? How was it framed? Everything regarding the same. So let's just begin. Uh, so I'll be sharing my screen with you all. So what exactly is constitution? So constitution of a country basically lays down a basic structure, in which the people can be governed. It's a kind of a legal document that verifies that this is the particular statute, this is something that we need to follow. It establishes the main organs of the state, that is the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. And the powers are defined and bifurcated at the same time, which demarcates various responsibilities and regulates relationship with each other and with other people. So this is the main idea of constitution. Then talking about the constitutional law, it is a fundamental law of the land that contains various provisions of the constitution. More particularly, it concerns with the basic features of the framework of the state and between the union and the unit. So the modern constitutional law, especially the free representative democracies, lays the greatest emphasis on the fundamental human rights and relationship between individual citizens and the state. The constitutionalism is not important for you, or you can just give it a read, but yeah, it's not very important for the exam point of view. So let's begin with the constitutional history of India. So how it all began. So the constitutional history of India is basically started when the British East India Company was established its presence in India, that is in 1600. So the British East India Company was also known as the Company of Merchants of London, trading into the East Indies. Okay, so British company began functioning in India in 1612 after they granted the rights to establish a factory in Surat. Now, all these things, where, who granted the right, how it got granted, everything is explained very much in your GK area. So you don't need to get into technicalities. We just need to get the main idea of what exactly this is. So Sir Thomas Roe, who was a representative diplomat of Queen Elizabeth I of England, he went to the Mughal emperor, that is Jahangir, to seek the permission to establish this company in 1612. Now, in 1757, there was Battle of Plassey, which is a very infamous battle in which the British defeated the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajud-Dowla. The richest province of India was sacked, and it raised British to the status to a major contender in the Indian Empire. Now, this war, this victory gave British Empire or the British East India Company a very great or a huge platform to establish their importance and their supremacy. Right. Mir Jafar was placed on the throne. The company got the right of coining money and keeping a resident in the court of Mir Jafar. Right. So here Mir Jafar was placed at the throne. Then the company slowly and gradually acquired the right of coining money. Now, coining money means the currencies that were to be circulated in that particular nation, that is India, was now in the hands of the East India Company, which in itself is a very powerful authority, right? So these are some pictures which demarcates this is Mir Jafar and this is the East India Company. Then this is the scene of Battle of Plassey, 1757. Now, Battle of Buxar, 1764, another very important battle in which Mir Qasim, that is the Nawab of Bengal, it was a triangular or titular emperor, that is Shah Alam II and Nawab of Awadh Shajud-Dowla. All three of them were defeated by the British. These three of them came together and they fought the war, but they were defeated by the British. And the British, defeated the combined army of these three emperors, And through this war or through this battle, Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa were given to Britishers. Diwani rights is like the rights of the land, that is to collect the money from various land. It's kind of a land revenue. So yeah, this is another picture from Battle of Buxar. This is the map which tells you that which area was, which time period. That is 1767, then 1805, 1858. Then Regulating Act of 1773. Now, in Regulating Act of 1773, the Governor of Bengal was given the title of Governor General of Bengal. That is Warren Hastings. Here, he became the first Governor General of Bengal. So, all you need to remember is who was the first Governor General of Bengal. That is Warren Hastings. Now, in this Regulating Act of 1773, there was establishment of Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court was established in Calcutta, and Eliza Mfe became the first Chief Justice of Calcutta. Now, if somebody asks you a question, who was the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, then the first, if you get an option, then you should tick mark Eliza Mfe. Otherwise, if they're just talking about the independent India, then it's going to be somebody else. But the first person to sit on the throne of or as a judge of the Supreme Court was Eliza Mfe. So you need to click on this correct answer. Then 4 members were added in the Governor General's Executive Council. Now these are some factual informations that you need to remember. Otherwise, there's nothing much to remember or to understand the concept. You just have to remember these 3 points, because in a lot of examinations, specifically ALIT, they do ask such kind of questions. Now, Charter Act of 1830. Now, there were various Charter Acts, 1833 as well, but we're talking about 1830. So, a sum of 1 lakh rupee was given for the education of Indians. So, this was kind of a accounts was taking place in which a certain amount of money was given by this charter for the education of Indians. Now, this 1 lakh rupee was very less, specifically to meet the educational or literal needs of the people who were in India. So, yeah, this was the first element. And the second was further Christian missionaries was also permitted to come to India and preach their religion. So this amounted to the opening of a secular aspect of the country. That is, missionaries were allowed to preach their religion. Also, one of the biggest reasons why this was allowed through this charter was that East India Company, that is the Britishers, they followed this particular religion, that is Christianity. So they wanted their religion to flourish in India as well, because India was one of its colonies. Now, Charter Act of 1833, the second Charter Act, that is, here the Governor General of Bengal became the Governor General of India. That is, the first Governor General of India was William Bentinck. Now, Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of Bengal, and Governor General of Bengal became the Governor General of India through Charter Act of 1833, and obviously the first Governor General then became William Bentinck. Now, a law member was also added in the Executive Council of the Governor General. Macaulay was the first law member, so you need to remember this as well. Now, a law commission was constituted for codification of laws. So, a law commission was also constituted. So, all these things are why I've made the pointer, so that you guys can remember very easily that which pointer defines, which charter defines which 3 or 4 elements. So, you need to remember these 3 points. Now, Revolt of 1857. Now, Revolt of 1857 is famously known as Sepoy Mutiny. Sepoy Mutiny was considered as one of the first war of independence by certain nationalist historians who had set a new trend in the constitutional history of India. So the after effects of the revolts were very severe, that it had changed the political authority and led to the transfer of power from East India Company to the British Crown with the enactment of an act in this regard. Right. So through this revolt was so powerful that the power was shifted from the East India Company to the British Crown now. So major decisions were taken by the British Crown and not the East India Company. This is one of the stills from the revolt of 1857, and this is Rani Lakshmi Bai. She was also part of this revolt. Then Act of 1858. Now the act that we were talking about after 1857 was Act of 1858, through which the power shifted from East India Company to the British Crown. Now here, the India shall be governed by and in the name of Her Majesty. That is the British Crown, the person who is heading the Britain. That is Queen Elizabeth I. Now, this act also abolished the rule of East India Company, very naturally, because it shifted to Her Majesty. Governor General of India was replaced by Viceroy. Okay, so Canning became the first Viceroy. So, talking about first Governor General of Bengal was in uh, Regulating Act, Regulating Act. Then Governor General of Bengal shifted to Governor General of India through Charter of 1833. And then Governor General of India was further replaced with a Viceroy, that is through the Act of 1858. Now, Canning became the first Viceroy. Now, Office of Secretary of State was also created. Here, Stanley was the first Secretary of State, right? So these are the factual things you need to remember. Now, this is the British India map 1860, where various provinces and states have been demarcated, that how these provinces or princely states were there. Princely states being Hyderabad, Mysore, Travancore, Orissa, Central India, Rajputana, Rajasthan, Baluchistan, Kashmir, because Baluchistan and Bhutan was a part of India as well. So they've been considering it as princely states. And British provinces are highlighted through grey. So just have a look at it, because it might ask you why Goa. Here, Goa is being considered as a Portugal ruled nation, city or the state. Here, Goa has not been considered as a British province nor as a princely state, so it's an exception. Now, Indian Councils Act 1861. So, Indian Councils Act 1861 basically introduced the portfolio system. The portfolio system was introduced by Canning, all right, and Viceroy was empowered to issue ordinances during emergency. These are the two major elements. Now, Indian National Congress. Now, Indian National Congress was established in 1885, and the person who was the first person to establish the Indian National Congress was A.O. Hume. Who was A.O. Hume? A.O. Hume was a retired civil servant who was staying in Shimla post-retirement. Now here he invited many Indian leaders regarding the Indian cause, and he laid down a foundation called Indian National Union. But after the suggestion of Dadabhai Naoroji, its name changed to Indian National Congress. Now the word Congress was taken from the American Constitution, as we all know. So the first session was attended by 72 delegates in Bombay, and the president, who was W.C. Banerjee. So the first president of the Indian National Congress was W.C. Banerjee. Now, before this, many political parties also came into existence, like the Landlord Society, which was established by Dwarkanath Tagore. This was also known as Zamindar Sabha. Now, there were other many organizations like East India Association, Bengal British East India Association, Pune Swarnajanik Sabha, and the Indian League established by Sisir Kumar Ghosh. So these are the factual things that you need to remember. Don't get into details of these things, because it's not going to help you. It's going to waste your time. So just remember that what all other political parties also existed, or the organizations that existed parallel to the Indian National Union. This is the first Indian National Union Congress photograph. So if you want to see, you can. Then Morley Minto reforms, that is Government of India Act 1909. Now here, through this reform, it included Indian members in the Viceroy's Executive Council. That is Satyendra P. Sinha became the first Indian to be a member of the Executive Council. Now, separate electorates for Muslims were also introduced through this. This time, the state-based electorates were introduced. Government of India Act 1919. This is the second Government of India Act, in which the central and provincial lists were established. Okay, and this was the first time for sure. Then bicameral legislature and direct elections for the same was also established. That is the upper house and the lower house, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. Separate electorates were extended to 6 as well. In Government of India Act 1909, separate electorates for Muslims were introduced, and in Government of India Act 1919, separate electorates was for Sikhs was introduced. Now, Government of India Act 1935, there were three Government of India Acts. Now, in 1935, All India Federation was established. Now, the list system was expanded, where the two lists were, that is central and provincial lists in Government of India Act 1919. In Government of India Act 1935, the list was expanded to federal list, provincial list, and concurrent list. All right, union list, state list, or concurrent list, as you can say today. So the provincial autonomy was also given. Responsible governments in the provinces, that is executive responsible to the legislative assembly, and both check and balance system has to be maintained. So the Supreme Court was already established for the check and balance. Now, Reserve Bank of India was also established through this act itself. Now, Constituent Assembly, that I have already talked about in my lecture prior to this, how the Constituent Assembly and how the Constitution was drafted. So I don't think that there is any need to get into the details. Here you can see the last line: the Constitution was adopted on 26th November 1949, which contained a preamble, 395 articles, which is divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. This is obviously changed, so you can remember through this. So this was the whole idea of letting you know about various important acts, various important regulations, how all things. So the journey from getting a constitution established through this video, and the video prior to this, I have told you about the Constituent Assembly and how the drafting took place. So for understanding that, you can go and check out that video, which will help you to understand and analyze what kind of questions are to be asked. So I think that is it. And if you have any kind of queries, you can ask us through our official mail, writing to us on yourlawmentor@gmail.com. We also have our own website, so you can go there and you can check out the study materials that are uploaded, which can help you in your preparation. And do not worry, do not stress if you have any problem. You can join the Telegram group and you can have a word with our team and to me personally. So yeah, that's it, and all the best and take care. Bye-bye.